Hey, I'm gonna do a third podcast. It's gonna be raw and unscripted. I'm gonna do like a stand up comedian act, make it last for an hour. You may be wondering what happened to my second podcast. I uploaded it to YouTube on Christmas Eve, but I made the naughty list because YouTube doesn't like it when you disagree with WHO or the World Health Organization. I talked about Carrie Mullis and the PCR test and the smear tactic, and then at the end of the video, I sang Carol of the Bells. Okay, I left a link in the description. Because I did upload it to Odyssey. Odyssey didn't ban that video, so you can watch it there. And this banning reminded me to act mature about the situation now. Let me explain. So one time I was at a family gathering, and then I was applying a principle of not arguing with someone's opinion because people value their importance. I got this idea after listening to Andrew Carnegie's book about, it was titled How to Win and Influence People and Friends, something like that. Warren Buffett said when he took a Carnegie class to develop his social skills, it was the best investment that he made. So that's why I was listening to that book, and then I applied the principles. So at the gathering, there was a lady sitting down next to me, and she asked me if I'm still going to college. And I said, no, I don't like now what they're doing with the vaccines. I don't think it's right that they're requiring students to take it to enroll in classes there. And then she told me that I was saying that because I didn't get COVID. Now, I wanted to argue with her because that's not the reason why, but I let her keep talking. I didn't argue with her. And then she continued to talk. And then one of the kids that she was watching started talking with her, and then she told the kid, right now I'm having a conversation. So she didn't just basically say, don't bother me. Okay, but there is a punchline to this. This is like one of those really long jokes. Okay, but there is the punch line coming up. Okay, so she told me, but anyway, she told the kid, basically, I'm having a conversation. She seemed to be enjoying the conversation because I wasn't arguing with her opinion. So, okay, it seemed like I was winning her over. Later, there was some Arabic music that started to play, and it was like belly dancing. There was a keyboardist, and then she started doing this dance, and then her kid was like, oh my gosh, mom, stop. And so I didn't dance with her, but seeing that I won her over, she was dancing after we had a nice conversation. So now with YouTube, even though they have their opinion that I'm spreading medical misinformation. Right now, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm going to let YouTube do its little victory dance and think that, like, okay, it won. Yeah, I'm spreading medical misinformation. So I will be mature about it. Okay. Now, let's see. I can transition to some other story and hopefully get to the punchline quicker. Maybe I can see. The job of a comedian is to make people laugh or put a smile on someone's face. I can do one of those challenges now where you don't laugh, so you could put some water in your mouth and then like have your cheeks bulge because your mouth is full of water, so it'll be like, and then you try not to laugh or spit out water. Okay? Now imagine on the TV, I'm going to play a meme. Okay, I hit play and the music starts to play now. What you gonna do with that big fat butt? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now you see Hillary Clinton twerking to Jason Derulo. You still got the water in your mouth? Okay. I remember when I was a preteen, there was this centipede. What's going on? My eyes were getting a little teary. There was this centipede toy. It was pretty big and green. And then when I pushed the button, it had some laughs. I remember having good times with the centipede. And then I pushing the button and I was like, hey, hi, hi, hey, hi, 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 made these weird noises. It was like that was the laugh of the centipede. Okay, now I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. They say the show must go on. One time in Norco, when I entered to be in the musical in the Joseph play, it was called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was one of the brothers, I wasn't the star, so I wasn't Joseph. And there was, during rehearsal, an incident when we were rehearsing the Potiphar scene. But before that, there was another scene that we rehearsed, and then I had to get backstage and change my costume. But in the room behind the curtain that I put my costume in, and also my pants, it seemed to be misplaced. And then the director, started. And I didn't come out of the Potiphar scene because if I were to have came out, I would only be dressed up in my shirt, costume, and basically have no pants. I'm not going to go out there in my boxers. And anyway, at the end, I was explaining that to the director, and he was like, the show must go on. Like, if it was really live performance and that happened, like, he would have wanted me to go out in my boxers. I thought I'm the one who's supposed to envision the audience in their underwear if I get nervous. I don't want to give them a show and display my boxers. Okay, that was a time when I questioned the notion, should the show always go on? Anyway, there was someone who was in charge of the costumes. I guess talked to some other people, some other actors, but when I wasn't there, and she ended up moving the clothes to the other opposite end backstage, and that's why I couldn't find my pants. But now, speaking of boxers, my boxers, there was another time that my boxers were brought up. Okay, I was taking a speech class for the first time at Norco. I think this was before I enrolled, because I enrolled in the Joseph play in the fall semester. Okay, so before I took the speech class, and then in the speech class we were supposed to do just some little speech, like a 2 to 5 minute speech about some story that happened. And the story that I chose to talk about is when my Australian buddy wanted to go to Disneyland, and then I got ready to go to Disneyland, and then he looked down and he looked back up as if examining my body, and he said, I don't know how to do a good Australian accent, but he said it in his accent. Oh, you're gonna go to thongs in Disneyland? And I was thinking, like, I looked at my silk SpongeBob underwear with hearts on it, and I'm thinking, no, I'm gonna go in boxers, dude. Anyway, I found out that thongs in Australia is like a slang for flip-flops. And I was wearing flip-flops. So that is an incident of how my boxers came up again. was a prior incident. Okay. Let me get the wiggle out of me. I seem to be going back and forth. So, I can wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Okay. Now, I can talk about another incident. Standing like this. Right now you can't see my belly, but sometimes toward the end of the day, if I eat a lot, or normally like I'll gain 5 pounds at the end of the day, then my belly gets out. And some people like to suck up their belly before a picture. So it's like 1, 2, 3. And they suck up their belly. And then if I was taking the picture, I would say, relax, I want you to breathe. But then the problem with that is if they're relaxing for the photo, and I tell them to breathe, it'll be like the belly will expand. So what would a self-love advocate say? You might play that Christina Aguilera song, that you are beautiful no matter what they say. But is there a line, though, when self-love becomes unhealthy? Now, this might trigger some people, and maybe I might get banned on another platform if I post this video there. Someone doesn't agree with what I have to say, but there comes a point, in my opinion, when self-love might become unhealthy. What if the person is morbidly obese and they have health problems? Are you going to say self-love and accept all your layers of fat? And like maybe if with me, if I just have some belly, I can accept my belly as long as it's not causing me to have health problems. But there are some people that, okay, they'll say self-love. Some girls will preach about, oh yeah, self-love, very important. But then, when I look on dating apps, they don't seem to try to improve the self-love of guys on there. In their profiles, they'll say sometimes stuff like, must be 6 feet tall. Like, I'm 5'9" or whatever, and in heels I'm 5'8" or something, and in heels I'm 5'11", so you must be at least 6 feet tall. Okay, it's like, what if I were 5'11", 1 inch shorter? Am I really not going to be the man of your dreams because I'm 1 inch shorter? It's like, what about helping me with my self-love? Okay, maybe I have to love the fact that I'm not 6 foot tall. Okay, it's like you want to have that I'm supposed to help you love your body, but what about my body? Okay? And then another thing they say is dad jokes. At first, I didn't know what is a dad joke. Like, oh, your dad wouldn't approve of your profile pictures, honey, so delete your profile on your dating app. But then I found out dad jokes are basically jokes that, yeah, your dad would tell, and they're kind of dumb and they're not that funny. I guess that's like a dad joke. And so now I can say a dad joke that I heard. But maybe this is a form of plagiarism because I'm stealing this dad joke. But I wonder, are there really any original dad jokes out there? They're probably passed down from generation to generation. But here is a dad joke that I heard. One time, the gardener was trimming the rose bushes in our backyard, and we also have a jasmine tree, and the cat likes to play, my little kitty cat likes to play in the jasmine tree, and the gardener accidentally snipped its tail off. So we ended up taking the cat to Walmart because they are the biggest retailer. You're so funny, I forgot to laugh, and then the girl unmatches with me. Okay, whatever. That it's told me to tell you my best dad joke. Okay, enough about these dating apps. The reason why I haven't been dating though is because it involves I could tell you a story. It involves me asking for a cup of water. Okay? And this can illustrate an example that even though I had peer pressure to start dating or to give it up, I didn't give in to that peer pressure. Okay, so the story one time, I was at a hotel, and then it was a nice sunny day. The sun was blazing. There was girls in bikinis tanning on chairs, and then guys in trunks too. They had some sunblock. Some of them were tanning too and swimming in the pool. Then I was with a group of teenagers, and then there was one of the bartenders at the hotel starting to approach us. And one of the teenagers said that, I dare you to talk to her. She was walking in her bikini. There were a list of orders and some money dangling from her hips and her bikini bottom. And then I asked her, because I was dared to talk to her, can I have a cup of water? Okay, and then she ended up getting me my cup of water. Then the teen laughed at me, said, can I have a cup of water? Then someone else told me that I'm going to be the 40-year-old virgin. So I had some pressure, like to start at least getting a girlfriend. But the reason why I didn't is because I have this value that I want to be financially independent first, because I've seen relationships go down the road of disaster and ruin due to financial problems. So that's how you can face adversity. You just stick to your values. Some people might make fun of you for them, but know why you're doing what you believe to be right. Okay? Let's see. I have to feel myself forming an idea that makes me smile. Sometimes there'll be these little reels that are a few seconds long with some audio, and then they'll get millions of views. And one of them I remember watching was some African guy saying in a heavy African accent, "Show me your dimples." And then the girl smiled. I got millions of views. Sometimes it's just those little things in life that can make people smile. Like I remember in the Ace Ventura movie, "You Make Me Smile." Some girl tells Ace Ventura, Ace Ventura, I don't know now how to say his name correctly, Ace Ventura. In Arabic, Ventura, I think, means pee, to urinate, or someone who is peeing. So the idea here is to make somebody smile so hard and laugh that they become Ventura and they soak their pants. It's quiet. But I have to feel myself now. Formulate an idea now that can make you smile. Let's see, one time I was thinking of a joke about Viners. You know, when Vine used to be a thing, the app, Like before it turned into Musically and now it's TikTok, I think. And there used to be Vines and there used to be like 10 seconds or less. People do their funny jokes. And then I said, what do Viners eat? These nuts? And because there were these viral videos going on with people saying these nuts. I feel these short video formats have ruined the concentration of people. I have ADD now. Sometimes I'll just see people, even now adults, like not just kids, grown adults on their phone and they're just swiping some little short video and swipe, swipe. So I think now YouTube has YouTube Shorts and it's competing with TikTok. And then on Instagram they have Reels. So short video format is what's in right now. And here I am making these hour-long podcasts and making some content that goes against some of the community guidelines. Just shows you how educated I am about growing on social media. Let me drink some water. I remember when I was in high school, I gave in to some peer pressure to cuss. One time I wanted a piece of gum from one of my friends in class, and he said, I never heard you cuss. Say, give me some effing gum. Okay, but he said it the real way. And then I said it the real way too. I wanted to fit in, or I had that peer pressure. Then I got my piece of gum. And now after I graduated, I've been not giving in to some peer pressure to cuss. Sometimes I've had people tell me stuff like, oh, you don't cuss, like you're a good, or you think you'll go to hell, that's why you don't cuss. You believe it's a sin. And then someone was like, if someone gave you $1 million, would you cuss? And now it might be, what if a big YouTuber like PewDiePie agrees that he would shout me out, but I have to say, give me some effing gum. Cussing though, right now, it's not part of my personality. I feel I've matured more and I take a stand for more of my values than I did when I was in high school, and I don't give in to that kind of peer pressure. I was gonna say I'm a clean comedian like Bill Cosby, but now I might get banned for saying that because there's bad, he touched me. if they, oh, you said he's like Bill Cosby and he touched me and I shouldn't, I'm not like Bill Cosby. Let's just leave it at that. I remember one time I wrote down some fat mama jokes. I don't want to read them though. I don't recall all of them. This is a raw and unscripted video. But I do recall one joke that I wrote. Your mama's so fat. When she took a step in New York City, everyone thought one of those dang terrorist attacks was happening again. Maybe I might get banned for saying that too. Okay, maybe that was a little too much. Now, the updated form of argumentation or debates is to hire some fact checkers that work for you, and maybe to find some organization and to get these fact checkers to agree with this world-class organization that the counter argument by your opponent is misinformation. So now instead of having an argument and then listening to your opponent make their case and their counter argument, and then the person making the argument can have a chance to respond to the counter argument in the rebuttal. Now the new and improved form of debate does not include those three aspects. It includes an argument, ban the counter argument on the premise of spreading misinformation, end of argument. Okay, because after all, people value their importance. Okay, like Andrew Carnegie teaches us, if we want to win them over, we don't get to have counter arguments. Yeah, that's not going to help them do their little victory dance. So now they can hire fact checkers and, oh yeah, and just say you're spreading misinformation and you don't argue with their opinion, and you know, they do like their dance, and maybe it's some Arabic belly dance song, and some Arabics say do some kind of chanting sometimes where they go la 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 la, so they'll go like la 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 la, you know, yeah, you're spreading misinformation, you're wrong, B, you know, la 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 la, you're wrong. And okay, I'll let them have their say. This is now what the world has come down to. Lots of banning people who disagree with the official narrative. All right. We can do, or I can do some little exercise. I'm doing some calf raises now. I'm 6 feet tall, ladies, and single. Wonder if I put that on a dating profile, if I'll get more matches. One time, recently in December, I was having some fellowship, and I was talking to one of my friends, and I learned about the success that he had on a dating app. With his fiance at the time. But originally, when he introduced his fiance to me, he told me that he introduced her as my friend. And I said, I heard you were getting engaged. And when you introduced me first, you said she's my friend. And maybe I was jumping to some conclusions, or what if it didn't work out? He might have got upset at me and said, oh, you shouldn't have said that. But they ended up getting married, and he's now I don't think he's a 40-year-old virgin, so there's hope for me that I'm not going to be a 40-year-old virgin either. Okay. I'll stand strong though, like I mentioned in that story. I'm not going to give in now to peer pressure anymore. I want to be financially independent, so I'm going to stop wasting my time on these dating apps. But now I might give them a chance when I am ready to date again. Okay? I remember one time in one of my speech classes at college, took a public speech class. This was another public speech class, because the one I took in the summer where I told you that story about wearing thongs to Disneyland, I didn't complete that speech class over the summer, but then I took it again in the fall semester. And then at the end of the class, there was an opportunity for students to autograph a group photo the professor took of all the students one day outside. Then I got some positive feedbacks on my speeches I gave, and one girl said that she would pay me money to see me do a stand-up act. Okay, so maybe I might try to find that girl and say, pay up. I'm ready to be financially independent now. Okay? But I'm gonna be patient though. I'm not gonna lose my cool. I want to remind myself. I don't know what that sound was, but I wanted to remind myself to be cool in the same way that I reminded someone that I knew And the same way I reminded him how to be cool. Okay, so one day we were at a cruise, and then him and his brother, they were fighting, and they weren't speaking to each other. And then we were sitting down on the cruise ship, and there was a stand-up comedian too, gonna perform on stage. But before the performance started, this guy was sitting on the one side of me and his brother was on the other. And I told him, like, even though you guys aren't talking to each other, I know you're cool. Okay, like that Gwen Stefani song. It's like dun 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 dun. I know we're cool. Cuckoo. So I knew that they were still cuckoo. So I have to keep my cool. I will make it. I will be financially independent, so don't have to pressure that girl to pay up now, because she said she would pay to see me perform. Okay. What am I trying to do? Like, is this a traffic signal? If I'm a cross guard? Or is this me dabbing? I'm not sure. I thought one time of doing a parody of a song that it's like a parody, basically. I could sing the parody of the song, and I'm pretty sure you can know what song I'm making fun of. But I don't think it's a good idea to make a parody of something that is basically like a comedy. Anyway, I had this idea for a reel, so you could tell me if it's good or not. I was thinking that I would be filming myself tying my shoe. I would be kneeling down and tying my shoe. Then I'd click play, and I start singing while playing with my shoelaces. I was gonna tie my shoe, and then while I was kneeling, but then I'll change the camera angle, then I'll go, but then I got high, and then maybe another camera angle, but then I got high, but then I got high. Okay, so I was gonna tie my shoe, but then I got high. What do you think of that? Is it just a disgrace? No, you don't make fun of a song that's already a comedy. I remember reading, though, in the comments of that YouTube music video by Afro Man, Because I Got High. And in the comments, one of the comments I read was that at my grandpa's funeral we played this song, and the people didn't understand it, But this was my grandpa's favorite song, and whenever he listens to this song, he remembers his grandpa. So imagine that song playing at a funeral. Thought it's supposed to be a sad moment and you're not supposed to joke at a funeral. But if it's in a good memory of a loved one, I guess it's okay to play that song at a funeral. Now I remember singing some other song, or kind of making fun of another song by 50 Cent. I don't know if I should sing it though. And post it online. But here we go. I was thinking of making a parody of this song, and then at the end of it, I have some little Beanie Baby chick animal, and then I was gonna smack it with some pointer stick at the end of the song. Okay, anyway, I'll just sing it. Okay, you know, I can hit once, I can hit twice. I got the magic stick. Magic. You know, I can hit once, I can hit twice. I hit the baddest chick. Baddest chick. And then I hit the chick at the end. Okay. Sometimes when you do something uncomfortable, you have weird body reactions, and one of mine was like I did some tongue thing. Okay, but I gotta be careful with what I did there, because I don't want to do some tongue thing and then it'll look like no, no, no. Who is getting hungry? I'm getting a little hungry. I remember a good example of some subliminal messaging. One time I went to Greg Laurie, one of the crusades in Angel Stadium, where Greg Laurie was speaking, and he mentioned In and Out, and he likes to get animal style. And then once we drove home, I was with some of my cousins. We went to In and Out, and it was like 10 o'clock by the time we got there, or 10:30, and In and Out seemed more packed than usual. So probably that was due to the subliminal messaging. The stadium was packed and In and Out was mentioned. And I'm not sure if people remembered much else from that sermon. So the subliminal message got to a lot of people. Okay, that's what subliminal message is all about. Like the burger at In-N-Out. Dun dun. Okay, let me know if you're gonna get In-N-Out after this. Now I can sing another song. From Blues Clues. That's not the song. At the end of the show, I remember Steve singing, "Now it's time for so long." But we'll sing just one more song. I forgot what the one more song is. I do remember some songs though from Blues Clues. Like when the mail was here, you would sing "Mail time, mail time, mail time, mail time. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes you want to wag your tail when it comes. I want to whale mail." The show must go on. It's almost the end. Even if I'm in my boxers and I can't find my pants, the show must go on. Can you do this? Wait, I don't want to get saliva on the camera. Okay, you hear that popping sound? There's something else that you might not be able to do. Can you clap with one hand? Okay, that's something that I kind of learned from my dad. So does this count as a dad joke? If someone says, "Tell me your best dad joke," I can clap with one hand. Can you? That was such a marvelous performance. Now I'll win girls over on dating apps. Okay? Sometimes they say must be funny, so on top of being 6 foot tall, I must be funny. I must tell a dad joke. Okay? Now we can have a moment of silence to remember that I made YouTube's naughty list and my video was removed. Podcast episode 2. But I uploaded it to Odyssey. I'll have a moment of silence to remember that I shouldn't argue with someone's opinion. Let them have their victory dance. Spreading misinformation, you win the argument, YouTube. You win the argument. Now a moment of silence.